Hello, my dear students. Our lesson for today is analogy. It is based on the learning competency of English grade 7, which is supply other words or expressions that complete an analogy. Do you know that analogy helps us develop our higher order thinking skill that promotes engagement and retention? Solving an analogy helps you practice your critical skills. Let me present to you the learning objectives of this lesson. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to recognize the different types of analogy, identify the relationship of two words in a pair based on its structure, and supply the word pair of words that completes the analogy. We have to remember that colons are important parts of analogy. Single colon means is to, while double colon means as. Examples. How are we going to read this analogy? PNHS, single colon, school, double colons, Robinson's, single colon, supermarket. No, the correct way of reading this is PNHS is the school as Robinson's is the supermarket. Another example. Square is the shape as pink is the color. We will now proceed to the discussion. What is an analogy? It is a comparison between two things that are usually thought to be different from each other but have some similarities. They help us understand things by making connections and seeing relationships between them based on knowledge we already possess. Are you now excited to know the different types of analogies? We will only discuss the basic ones. These are the antonyms, synonyms, cause and effect, part to whole, location, action and object, performer and action, performer and object, function, degree, characteristic quality, and classifications. Let's begin with antonyms. Antonyms, pairs that show an opposite relationship. Example, big is to small as pretty is to ugly. Big is the opposite of small, as pretty is the opposite of ugly. Healthy is to sick, as safe is to dangerous. Healthy is the opposite of sick, as safe is the opposite of dangerous. Another type of analogy is synonym. Synonyms, pairs that show a similar relationship or have the same meaning. Example, big is to huge as small is to tiny. Big means the same as huge, as small means the same as tiny. Another one, assist is to help, as admit is to confess. Assist means the same as help, as admit means the same as confess. Another one, cause and effect. Involves a noun or verb that leads to the other word. Example, heavy rain is to flood, as volcanic eruption is to ashfall. Flood is the effect of heavy rain, as ashfall is the effect of volcanic eruption. Studying hard is to good grades, as having a job is to earn money. Good grades is the effect of studying hard, as earn money is the effect of having a job. Let's proceed to another type, part to whole. Pairs that show the first word as part of the second word. Example, mouth is to face, as kitchen is to house. Mouth is a part of a face, as kitchen is part of the house. Canteen is to school, as cover is to book. Canteen is part of the school, as cover is part of the book. Another type of analogy, location, where something can be found. Example, Taguig is to NCR as Imus is to Cavite. We can find Taguig in NCR as Imus can be found in Cavite. Another example, stove is to kitchen as bed is to bedroom. We can find stove in the kitchen as bed can be found in the bedroom. Another type of analogy, action and object. In these items, the object always receives the action. Example, dribble is to ball as ring is to phone. Dribble is the action performed by the ball as ring is the action performed by the phone. Another one, print is to printer as cook is to rice cooker. Print is performed by the printer as cook is performed by rice cooker. Again, this type is action and object. Next type, performer and action. In these items, a person is doing something. Example, painter is to paint as driver is to drive. Painter's action is paint as driver's action is drive. Another one, janitor is to clean as vendor is to sell. Janitor's action is clean while vendor's action is sell. Another type, performer and object. A person working with a tangible object. Example, painter is to canvas as driver is to car. Painter is using canvas as driver is using car. Policeman is to gun as teacher is to chalk. Policeman is using gun as teacher is using chalk. Another type, function. How something works. Sample, needle is to sew as keyboard is to type. We use needle to sew as keyboard to type. Pen is to write as stove is to cook. We use pen to write as we use stove to cook. Another one, degree. How much of something. Analogies of degree show greater or lesser extent. Example, tan is to brown as pink is to red. Tan becomes brown when the color is deepened or intensified. In the same way, pink becomes red when the color is deepened or intensified. Starvation is to hunger as centigram is to decigram. Starvation is the higher degree of hunger as centigram is higher degree of decigram. Another type of analogy, characteristic quality, describes something. Sample, mouse is as small as elephant is to big. The characteristic of a mouse is small as the characteristic of an elephant is big. Ball is to round as table is to square. The characteristic of a ball is round as the characteristic of table square. This is the last type of analogy, classification. Put something in a category. Example, pink is to color as oval is to shape. Pink is kind of color as oval is kind of shape. PUBG is to online game as science is subject. PUBG is kind of online game as science is kind of a subject. We are now done discussing the 12 types of analogies. Do you understand the differences of these types and their examples? If you still have questions in mind, you can always ask your English teacher. But if you don't have any questions, we can now proceed in answering your modules. I know that you are excited. We can start answering now. Enjoy answering.